Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel again. In this session, I'll be teaching you how to sort the employee object based on the employee ID, employee name, and employee salary. And also, we do this using the Java-8 feature and without using the Java-8 feature. So let's go to Eclipse. And I've already created one project. And inside the SRC, I'll be creating one package with the name com.mwoj dot employee. Okay. Inside this package, first thing, I'll create an employee Pojo class. Okay. I mean the model class. So here, as I just said, we need ID, name, and salary of employee. So let's uh, let's create the variables like this: employee ID, private string, employee name, and private int employee salary. So I have created the three variables, instant variables, and now what I'll do is I'll be uh, writing the getter setter methods for these variables. What I'll do is in Eclipse there is a shortcut Alt Shift S, and I'll use this generate setters and getters. I'll select all and I'll generate. Next thing, I will create the constructor for this class. Okay, I'll again use the same shortcut and I'll use the constructor and I will auto generate it like this. Okay, I have created the constructor. I have created the getter setter methods for these variables. And final thing is we need to override our toString method. So for that, again, I'll use the same shortcut, generate toString. I'll generate it. Now I think I have completed my Pojo class. Now I have created the employee class. My requirement is to sort the employee objects based on their ID, name, and salary. For that, I'll create a demo class or a main class. So I'll call that as employee demo class. And I'll click this public static void main because this is my main class. Okay, this is now created. Now, what I will do is I will add a certain employee details to my array list. For that, I'll create the array list first. And into this list, I'll be passing the employee objects. So I'm specifically mentioning that. So employee list, I'll call that as employee list is equal to new array list. Okay, I have created the object of array list. Next, what I'll do is I'll add some employee objects into this array list. For that, I'll use this employee list reference variable and I'll use this add method. And inside the add method, I'll pass the object of employee, which I just created, the class which I just created, employee. And the first argument is of type int. It will be the ID of that employee. So I'll pass it as 4. And the second one is the employee name. I'll call it as, I'll use name as Suresh. And his salary would be, let's say, 10,000. Okay. So this is how we create the objects of employees. So similarly, what I'll do is I'll pass a few values like this. Let me change the ID. Uh, let me change it to 1 and let me change this to 3. Name Ramesh. Next Rajesh. Then what else? Okay, Sam is fine. Okay, let me change the salaries as well. Okay, now we have 4 employee objects with different employee IDs and different names and different salaries. I think this is enough now. Now what we'll do is we will try to print all the values first, print all the employee objects first. For that I'll use the enhanced for loop. Employee list of employee list. Now let me print one by one. The employee ID is plus list dot get employee ID. Similarly, I'll print the other two variables. This is employee name and this would be employee salary. Okay. Now let's check the output. Let me run this program and let's see what will be the output. Yeah, we're getting it. So because we have used array list, the objects that are getting printed here are based on the order of insertion. You can see I have inserted employee Suresh first. That's why employee Suresh is at the beginning. So it is purely based on the data structure of array list. Fine. Now we are able to print the values. Now what I will do is first I'll try to sort these objects using the employee ID. For that, that too without Java-8 feature. So okay, sorting the objects using the employee ID. Okay. See, when you sort the objects using the employee ID, you need to first create the you need to first create the a class. You need to create a class of that particular field which you are trying to compare. That is we are using employee ID, right? So let me call this class as employee ID comparator. Let me give this name, give the name of the class as employee ID comparator. And this comparator class is going to implement one interface, that is comparator. That is the interface that you need to, that your class must implement. All right. Okay. Now it is ready and it is showing me some warning. What is that? It is asking me to add the unimplemented method. This comparator interface has a method by name compare, so which takes two objects and returns the compared values. So for that, what I'll do, I'll click on add unimplemented methods, and it got overridden and we don't find any compile time error now. So that, like I said, there is a method called compare inside this comparator. So our class which is implementing the interface comparator must implement or must override the compare method. And here it is taking two employee objects and it is returning an int value. That int value can be changed like this. So in order to sort the ID based on the natural order, this is how you need to pass. That is, O1 is the first employee object's reference variable dot get employee ID minus O2 dot get employee ID. That's all. Now this is done. We are just subtracting the employee ID of the second object from the first object, and we are just returning the same value back to this class. Now how do you check it? Now what I'll do is, now in order to see the change, let me use one method called collections dot sort. There is a method, there is a static method present in the collections class. I'll be using that. Now I'll be passing two arguments to this. First argument is nothing but this employee list. Whatever the objects that we have stored will be inside this reference variable. So I will be passing that as the first argument. And the second argument would be the object of the class which we just created. That is this. You need to create the object, or we need to, yes, you need to create the object and pass it over here as a second argument. That is new employee ID comparator. That's all. Now just print the employee list. Just print the employee list or use the enhanced follow. That will be fine. Now let me print it and let me run it. I'll comment this for now and I'll run the second enhanced follow. And if everything is fine, the objects, the employee objects must be, sorted in the ascending order. Let's see. Yes, we are getting it. Employee ID 1, employee ID 2, employee ID 3, employee ID 4. It has been sorted in the natural order. Perfect. Now, what if you want to print the values in the descending order? In that case, it is a very simple thing. You need to go back to your employee ID comparator and change this to O2 and this to O1. You're subtracting O1 dot get employee ID from O2 dot get employee ID and you're returning the same back to the main class. Now let's run and check. There you go. It has been reversed. The stuff has been reversed. It is in the reversed order. Perfect. So this is how you can do for employee name when you want to sort the objects using the employee name. So let me create another object. Let me create another class for employee name comparator. Okay, and let me implement comparator again. Click on finish, change this to employee, and again you need to write that compare method here. This time observe the employee name is a string value. So here what you'll do is you will use o1 dot get employee name. This time you'll not subtract anything, you'll just use another method called compare to. Compare to of o2 dot get employee name. That's all. Now let me go back to my class, main class, and here let me comment this out and let me paste this here, and this time I'll be passing the name comparator. Now if everything is correct, my objects should be getting sorted in the ascending order of the employee names. Okay, let's run and check. Run this program and let's see. Yes, RAJ comes first ahead of RAM. After R, S will come, and after SA, SU should come. So it is working perfectly. Okay, let me change the names for that purpose. Let me use mm, Raj here. Let me use Akash here. Let me use mm, Tom here. And let me use Bharat here. Okay, it's let's check for the output now. Okay, Akash comes first, A comes first, B comes second, R comes ahead of D. Yes, it is working fine. Perfect. Similarly, if you want to sort it in the descending order, what you just need to do is you just have to reverse the comparison. That's all. O2 dot get employee name dot compare to of O1 dot get employee name. Now, if I run the program, it should be sorted in the opposite way. Yes, it is working fine. Tom is at the beginning, Raj comes next, Bharat comes next after that, and Akash will be at the last. Perfect. Similarly, this is how you can compare, I mean sort the objects using the employee salary as well. So I don't have to explain that. I think you people will be able to understand it. Now what I'll do is I will create another package. Let me create another package. Let me create it as employee sorting using Java-8. So inside the src I'll be creating one package. Okay, so what I will do is I'll create the class. No worries. Employee. This time I'll just take two values: private int employee ID, private string employee name. Now I'll use the shortcut and I'll create the constructor first, and then I'll create the getter setters using the fields, and then finally I'll create the toString method. Why do we create this toString method? If you don't override the toString method in your Pojo class, if you try to run the program using the reference variable of the object, you will be able to get only the address of that variable, not this object. So that is the reason we have to override this toString method. That is why we need to override the toString method. Okay, got it. Now I have created the Pojo class. Now I create the main class, that is employee demonstration class, and this is a main class. I'll be taking the PSVM. Yeah, once we create a main class, we will use the same way to store the employee objects, like list is equal to new array list, and then we'll add few employee names, like new employee ID will be 2, name will be Kiran. Let me use some other values. This time ID will be 8, name will be Mukesh, then let's say ID is 3 and name is Tarun, then ID is 6, the name is Abhi. Let's say we have 4 objects of employees. Okay, now let's try and print using the enhanced for loop. Employee of list, employee. Okay, this is out. Employee ID is employee dot get employee ID. This is out. Employee name of employee dot get employee name. Now after that, let me put one more system dot out of println to have a space between two employees. Now let me run this and check. Yes, it's okay. It is working fine. Now what we will do is we will use the Java-8 feature to sort these employee objects. Okay, Java-8 feature to sort the employees based on their ID. Okay, now let me make use of this list, which is storing all the employee objects, and I'll use stream method, a method with the name stream. Then over that method, what I'll do is I'll use the sort method. I mean sorted method. Okay, inside the sorted method, we will pass we will use lambda expression, and we will pass couple of employee objects. Okay, that is e1 comma e2. Let me say it this way. Now I will use the lambda expression. Now I want to sort the employee objects, or employee oh yeah, I want to sort on employee objects based on employee ID, and I want to sort it in the natural order or the ascending order. So what I will do is I'll use e1 dot get employee ID minus e2 dot get employee ID, just like the way we used the method we used inside the compare method in our previous example. That's all. Now after this, collect this value and convert it into to list. That's all. Now this line of code is enough to sort the employee objects based on their employee ID in the natural order. So why we use the lambda expressions? Because lambda expressions are introduced into Java to enable the functional programming and code conciseness. Like the number of codes that you write to sort the objects, employee objects in the previous example is more, is very high. You had to create the class, you had to extend, implement comparator interface, everything. Here you don't have to do anything like that. This line of code is enough to sort your objects, sort your employee objects. Okay, let me sort an employee list. I'll pass the value or the list to this variable, and I will simply use the enhanced for loop to you know print the objects of employee. Okay, so I'll copy the same thing. It's already there, right? Okay, list of employees. That's all. Now I'll place another sys out here. Employee objects are sorted using the Java-8 feature. Now let me print and check that out. So if everything is correct, the value Kiran should stay at the beginning, Tarun should come next, and then Abhi should come after Tarun, and Mukesh should be at the last. Let me run the program and check it out. Okay, yes, employee objects are sorted using the Java 8 feature. Kiran, Tarun, Abhi, Mukesh. 2, 3, 6, 8. Perfect. This is working absolutely perfect. Now in order to reverse this, similar to what we did in the previous example, just reverse the comparison. E1 or E2 dot get employee ID minus E1 dot get employee ID. Now let us run it. Yes, it is now in the reversed order. 8, 6, 3, 2. Perfect, right? Okay, now let's sort the names of the employee using the Java 8 feature based on their names. Okay, just copy paste everything. Okay, I'll show you. I'll comment this out, in fact, in order to avoid the confusion. Now here, since employee ID is an integer value, we compare this way, right? Employee name is going to be the string value, so we will not be using this way. Instead, like we did in the previous example, we will be using the compare to method. E1 dot get employee name dot compare to of E2 dot get employee name. One change will give us the result. There you go. Abhi, Kiran, Mukesh, Tarun. If you want to reverse it, 2, 1. Employee 1 dot get employee name dot compare to of employee 2 dot get employee name dot compare to of employee 1 dot get employee name. Now it should be reversed. Yes, Tarun comes first, Mukesh, Kiran, and Abhi. I think you understood why we use the Java 8 feature or why we use lambda expression. In order to avoid many number of lines of code, we use lambda function. Okay, here we have created the class, a separate class, and we have implemented the comparator, and we have written overridden that method as well. Here in Java 8, you don't have to do anything. You just need to write this line of code. Use the stream method. For that, you use the sorted method. Inside the sorted method, you will pass the lambda function and then collect it and convert it into list. And that list is this. And this list will contain the list of employees sorted, and you'll be using the enhanced for loop to print the same. I hope you understood this, and thanks for watching this video.